Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Toyke Adedike from the Johns Hopkins Center for Communication Programs, the Narrative Project. So I'm here to read out the draft communique that has been developed as a result of today's conference. Hello, can you hear me? For you to hear the question is you can hear me to some extent. All right, so I'm going to move on and read the communique. Women Pre-Conference, communique of the Women Pre-Conference at the 6th Nigeria Family Planning Conference with the theme, Impactful Strategies to Strengthen the Family Planning Agenda Post-2020, Adaptation, Innovation, and Resilience. The sixth Nigeria Family Planning Conference has its theme, Post-Family Planning 2020 Agenda and Safeguarding Investments in Emergencies, Adaptation, Innovation, Resilience, a theme that is apt in these times. The Women's Pre-Conference, which kicks off the conference, held today, 7th December 2020, at the Wells Carlton Hotel, Abuja. It has its keynote speaker as Dr. Hawa Shakaru, FICMC, President and Founder, Women Law and Development Initiative, WOLDI, Africa. In her keynote address, she highlighted the effects of the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic in recent times that everyone unawares, completely stretching the resilience of global health systems, including those of developed countries. This pandemic also increased the domestic and sexual violence recorded against women around the world as a result of the lockdown. The COVID-19 pandemic came with its attendant consequences, one of which is the disruption of access to family planning. Hello? One of which is the disruption of access to family planning information and services, as well as sexual and reproductive health more broadly. As documented by teacher Nagarajan 2020, violence against women and girls, VAWG, was widespread in Nigeria before COVID-19, and there has been a significant increase during the pandemic. Before COVID-19, SGB was generally widespread in Nigeria. The National Population Commission reported that at least 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 10 boys experienced sexual violence before the age of 18. The advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, no doubt, has led to an increase in gender-based violence cases in all 6 geopolitical zones. As seen from the foregoing, the upsurge of sexual violence against women in the COVID-19 pandemic calls for great concern around ensuring FP needs are met. For women, family planning is a critical basic health. As health systems shift to prevent and treat people with COVID-19, it is essential that they also protect and ensure women have access to family planning services. As experienced so far, the focus of many health systems on the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the provision of basic contraceptive counseling, the delivery of contraceptive products. As experienced so far, the focus of many health systems on the response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the provision of basic contraception counseling, the delivery of contraceptive products and services, and the functioning of supply chains have been disrupted, and women and men are at a disadvantage in seeking care from their regular providers, FP 2020. COVID-19 is impacting women's ability to use contraception in a number of ways. 1, disruption to the supply chain are limiting the production, distribution, and availability of contraceptive commodities, resulting in stockouts. Some healthcare facilities are also reducing services. 2, healthcare providers are redirected from providing family planning services towards responding to COVID-19. 3, many women are unable to visit healthcare facilities due to lockdowns or fear of exposure to COVID-19. There is no doubt that when women's and couples' needs for family planning are not met, the number of unintended pregnancies is certain to rise, with lifelong impacts on women and their families. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on meeting the demand for family planning will be influenced by many factors, one of them being the types of contraceptive methods used by women in each country. Individual contraceptive methods differ in terms of need for contact with healthcare providers, the period of renewal, susceptibility to stockouts, and global supply chain disruptions, and their effectiveness in preventing unintended pregnancies. These issues therefore make it more important to prioritize the provision of contraception, not only in the midst of COVID-19, but at all times. 6 key action points for policymakers, political leaders, and health system providers that could ensure that FP needs for women are met during the COVID-19 pandemic were presented. Number one, limitations on mobility speaks to an urgent need to expand postpartum family planning services, particularly long-acting reversible contraceptives, also known as LARCs, such as contraceptive implants, postpartum IUDs, and injectables. Two, self-care family planning methods should be promoted and supplied to women and men proactively. Three, barriers to accessing contraception need to be lifted. Four, implement telemedicine using mobile phones and social media as an adjunct to improving information and access to contraception. Five, we need to anticipate and address likely supply chain needs and challenges. Six, healthcare workers must be provided adequate personal protection equipment, also known as PPEs. In her presentation, Dr. Fatima Mohammed, Director, Society for Family Health, presented on difficulty in accessing FP during the pandemic, the social impact. She highlighted the challenges faced by providers and women in accessing family planning services during the pandemic. In preferring solutions to the challenges faced as indicated above, Dr. Kingsley Odogu from Marie Stopes presented on innovative approaches to increase family planning services during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. He shared Marie Stopes' responses to the issues. One, set up an internal COVID-19 response team with real-time responses based on updates from the teams across the country. Two, secured approval, passes from national and state ministries of health that enabled teams move and work as essential health workers, even in the most difficult locations and across states. Three, developed COVID-19 guidelines for service delivery to each of their channels of operation. This ensured standard of practice and care across board. Four, deployed personal protective equipment, PPE, for all team members and service providers, including use of handheld thermometers, sanitizers, face masks, etc., to ensure safety of clients and staff. Five, increased supply of commodities and consumables to the facilities. Six, mainstream COVID-19 prevention messages into family planning health talks across all channels and location. Their staff were provided health talks on COVID-19 before every engagement, including mobilization and service delivery activities. Seven, develop COVID-19 demand creation guidelines that sustain mobilization of clients for FP and SRH services, greater use of community structures and gatekeepers. Eight, and not the last, but last but not the least, I apologize, daily tracking of productivity of each team. And this ensured that Marie Stopes in Nigeria constantly maintain good value for operational investment made during the COVID-19 period. So this is the summary of what we have gotten so far. We do not have input from questions and answers from the chat group and some other conversations that we had in the hall, but these will still be fine-tuned. This is a draft presentation of what we have so far. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I would say that a lot of work still needs to be done, and it's ongoing since it's just a draft. What we have heard, it's a review, putting together all that have been discussed on the floor today. Like Dr. Ejike said, especially to our participants, virtual participants, we would share this with you as soon as we are able to fine tune on a lot of the asks and demands that should still be included in the communique. And before we wrap up, do you have any comments, sir? Do you have any comments?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the communique. One thing I want us to remind ourselves is the VAM Act, which in some states actually they have not been stepped down. So if you don't mind, I think you should include it in your communique and let's continue to pursue it to make sure that, yes, anybody caught at least will go by the punishment. Thank you.
I completely support what Dr. Kai has said. Just 2 weeks ago at NIPS, we were reviewing the population policy and then how far have we gone? 11 states have not domesticated the VAP Acts, 11. Two states have almost, they are still going back and forth. At least they've gone to the process, and that is Yobe State. And I think, which is the other state? Before I make a mistake, let me just stop at the one I remember. Yobe State, initially they claimed when we made our presentation to NIPS, the man was one of the participants. He was a former PAMSEC. He stood up and said, no, we have domesticated in Yobe. We say we don't take what people tell us. We look at the data. So when we looked at the data, it was still showing that it's 11 states that Yobe wasn't there. He eventually apologized that actually he went back to the House of Assembly. So it's a very important cry that we have to bring on the table. But I'm sure somebody has been given that responsibility to thank all of us. But I'm really very excited about the presence and the resilience. You know, one of the key distance of our theme is resilience. Nigerians are so resilient. I can tell you, I've been to so many countries. There's no country that is as resilient as us. And that's why I would say this year to bring it in to show that the best is yet to be seen of us. So thank you very much from me.
Thank you very much. I would like to call on Dr. Chika Abazu, who would move. Somebody wants to say something? Yes.
No, you need to use the microphone because they are recording it.
Good evening, everybody. Good communique, but I want to add in Shekarao's name, Hawa, please write that she's also the chairman of MBA, Abuja, Nigerian Bar Association. She's our chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very, very important. The nomenclature, it's very emotional, and to us as women, it's the first time that is happening, and we need to put the right nomenclature in place. All right. Any other observation? Well, like I said earlier on, it's work in progress. We will still feed all of us back because we all registered. We'll send this to you by mail. And if you still have any addition or anything you want to add, we're live as it is. We're live and we've been live, so this is nice. So we'll add it on, and please continue to check once you're registered. Continue to feed us back with whether if we have any more inclusion to do. It's been wonderful chairing this session. I'm so proud of Nigerian women. You all have stayed the test of time. So please, can you all give yourselves a round of applause? Thank you. May I please ask our he for she, did you hear him how loud he sang the women's anthem? Yes, so please can I invite Dr. Chika Abazu? Thank you for that.